Hello and welcome to another session of AZMAT System tutorials. In this tutorial, we'll continue with the risk management commands on the Y menu. So let's begin. This particular session using Windows 10 and XL2010, which is XL14. File, Help. You can see that Excel was Office Professional Plus 2010. So I click on the additional information, XL2010 there, and system information. Info will tell me here operating system name, Microsoft Windows 10 Home Edition, so on. Close this, go back on the file. Right, so let's open the AZMAT System tutorial, AZMAT System program file rather. So file open. I'm using it from the F drive and of course in XL2010. AZMAT and the AZMAT System program file. Open is read-only, always. Simple 2-character password just for the file. And for AZMAT System, slightly longer. You can change this password on your own machine anytime you like. So 2-letter ID, I'm using AA, and 4-digit my own password. Again, both your ID and your password, you select it yourself on your own machine. So we finish there. All the Excel AZMAT System commands are under, you can access them via add-in, as you should know by now. All the AZMAT System menus are here. We are going to go use the Y menu commands. Before I do that, I'll just first save the AZMAT data file. So we'll put the correct current date and time on that. So save AZMAT System there. There's 15th of August 2018 at 12:45 a.m. London time. Okay, so let's continue here. In the previous tutorial, we had covered these 4 commands. Now we'll continue with these other ones from here. So let's have a look at this one. All volatility or for currency or commodity. That's one. This gets the volatility data for all instruments of a given currency or commodity. When this command is invoked from the Y menu of the AZMAT System, message is displayed as follows. This is, we have gone through that. I'm not going to go through that again. It's just some extra messages if you want. Normally they're turned off because once you know what they are, it can be annoying. You don't really want that. User is then prompted to enter input the file name, the actual volatility file name. So I'll here enter. So I'm going to do this here in this session. We're actually going to go through these commands as we go through. So all volatility for currency or commodity. Click that. It gives me that it's actually giving me the date August 14th, 18th, 2018. This is the last time I had used it, so it's giving me that. But the actual file name I have here is one I'm using is DV 122900. Now DV is giving me the daily volatility but I can change it to the monthly as well if I want to, but I'll leave it for now. This one, we'll do the monthly in a minute later on. So for daily volatility of that date, that's the file name. And where it is stored, it's always stored in this folder or directory. I'd advise you to keep them all here because in AZMAT System, all different files of different descriptions are stored in different directories. So we have about 5 different subdirectories or folders of AZMAT System, as we've seen in other tutorials, but I will again go through later on. I don't want to say now in the middle of this command. I'll show you again, just in case you have not seen those. Right, so that's where the folder directory is. Okay, so I've given the file name dv122900, and I've said here I want all the volatilities for a particular currency or commodity. Get it from that file. So, okay, first. Now it's asking me the currency code, currency or commodity code. You can put it upper or lowercase, doesn't really matter. For example, USD for US dollar, or Deutschmark, DEM, and so on. Or gold, GEL, sorry, GLD. Okay, let's get for the gold. So GLD. Remember, all it's asking me is to enter the 3-character currency of commodity. So AZMAT System is completed. The current command, one matching record was found. There it is. There's only one gold. Obviously, for the gold there is just one. But now we'll leave this for a minute, and now this time we'll go and enter a currency, for example. The gold will be just on one particular. There is only one volatility for it on a daily basis for that particular date. So I'm just going to go in here and go and enter the same command, all volatility for currency or commodity. So I'll leave this time. As you can notice, the date is that of the one which I just used, the daily volatility, and I'm just going to go to use that same, and here I'll enter USD, for example, US dollar. Okay, so this time, notice for gold, we got just one record, one matching record is found. For US dollar, there'll be several, because depending on you'll see in a minute. Let's see that. There. AZMAT System has completed the current command. 21 matching records were found. This is because, for example, on the US dollar, depending on the duration of this 30-day, 90-day, 180-day different run, we'll go into those things later on, all that, swaps and so on. Altogether, we have 21 matching records. But all are, as you can see, the US dollar. Gold, there was only one. It's not just US dollar, not the only currency. We can also say, for example, get it for all volatility for currency commodity. Remember, this is the daily one we've used it. We could, for example, change it very easily. Instead of daily, I'll say, right, get it for monthly volatility file. Don't need to enter it capital letters. You can enter it small case or uppercase or lowercase, doesn't matter. As a programmer, when you program, you'll notice that you should convert it yourself if you want. Always uppercase, it's easier to see if you like later on. But don't expect the user, don't insist that the user should enter it in the way you want it. No, you convert, as a programmer, it's your job to convert it always as a matter of course. So it's easier to see. Right, so MV, so monthly volatility, and now, in fact, this time change the currency to GBP, British pound sterling. So I click that, and here again 21 matching records were found. So if you see, if I just move it slightly this one, we can look at both of them at the same time, for example. Right, so we have a different, for different currencies that in this case also happen to be the same. But just to show you, and it's not because it's monthly, this is monthly volatility file. See M, month, D for day. So that's the daily volatility for US dollar, monthly volatility file for GBP, pound sterling. Let me just show you. We'll also go through this time. We'll use the volatility or currency commodity. Leave it monthly. It doesn't really matter whether it's daily or monthly. Going to this time, get it for, just to show you, we'll use the Japanese yen. So it's JPY, right? I've entered all lowercase. You can even mix it if you like. In fact, I might do that just like. I use the arrow, so it's automatically going there. So I'll use I'm going to make it so there's small j, capital P, small y. Doesn't really matter, except whatever. So JPY, and this has its own different volatilities data. This is also monthly. Monthly. MV 1229. That goes on the bottom there, and then you actually put down. Again, here you send the command is a VOL for volatility file, Y menu, and command which is number one. It doesn't mean it's the first command because I'm using here. If I show you here, AB, GE, and then I'm start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not the first command, it's the command which has the command letter 1, command character, I should say, 1. So just for ease of reference, later on you can see how this file is really, we got it by using that particular command. Okay, so what does it do? Let's just summarize it. So the user is prompted to enter the file name, and then the full path name, including the drive letter of the directory where that file is stored. This directory could be anywhere on the current computer setup. But in this particular case, always in AZMAT System, when it's storing in a particular directory, I advise you to leave it there. But it's up to you. You can get the file from anywhere on this, as long as you enter the drive letter as well. And it is there, it will get it. If it's not there, it will tell you it doesn't exist. Then AZMAT System prepares a query text file. These are all text files, remember these ones. So the query text file in which any matching data from the volatility file is placed. It's got the volatility file, looks at it, what you're looking for, which particular, I'm looking for a particular currency, so US dollar, GBP, JPY, or commodity, for example, gold, whatever. It'll just get it. For gold, there's only one record. For these currencies here, as we've seen that, there are 21 matching records. And so the name of this saved text file is generated by AZMAT System. So you do not need to give it a name. It'll automatically give it a name, depending on, for example, whether it's a daily file or monthly file. And if I go back here, if I'm just going to cancel this, for example, go to here. So for example, you can see the very first command I had entered was, in fact, I'm just going to make this size smaller, go down there. The very first command I had entered here as you can see, it was this one, I think gold. One matching record found. It's gold. So it's given it a name, dv1229_1.txt. The next command I gave was I chose the US dollar, and so it's given in dv1229_2, and so on. And then I gave this one. However, then I changed it from daily volatility to monthly volatility command. And in the monthly volatility, this was the first command, first command for the monthly volatility. So it gave it --1, and this was the second one. So MV1229_2. So just from looking at the file name, you can tell whether it's for the daily volatility or monthly volatility or daily volatility, DV or MV, and so on. And the file name is just simply going to keep on generating as many as is necessary in this required. It won't expect you to give it a file name, automatically just generates that and saves that file. In addition to the result of the query text file, now just before I go that, I just want to say one other thing. So these files are always saved in the subdirectory called AZMAT text. AZMAT TXT, where AZMAT system is installed. We'll just have a quick look at it. Before, in order to see that, if I just go here, I can change that directory to change to the AZMAT query text file directory. If I click that, it will get there. We can see those files. But just to show you, before I use that command to show you that we are not in that particular directory, if I go file open, and you see here, although it's shown this AZMAT, this is actually the user's own directory. Right? This is not the AZMAT system program directory. It's simply f:\\AZMAT. So this directory is actually this one. It's not this AZMAT, which is under the actual way AZMAT system program files are, nothing there, right? So that's what it is. Now, if you, just to show you that is what it really is, this one. So AA.XLS, XLSX, and so on. So if I click here, these files should be the same. It should be as they are displayed, because that's where this particular file is, not this one. We will go in that in a minute, but I'll just to show you that if I click that here, these all should be same as we see them now. f:\\AZMAT. There. See, all those files are the same. Now, whereas this one, if you see here, this AZMAT is f:\\XL2010, then AZMAT. So if I click that, there. XL2010, then AZMAT, and it's got these subfolders or subdirectories. In this subfolder, this is the AZMAT text. That's where all these files we see currently, query text files, are stored. So I can just go and show you here. Double click. No match file, no items match your search. Well, they are there. Reason you don't see them is by default, it's only Excel is chosen to show all Excel files. So if I change them, you have to go use this down arrow here to change. Either the simplest thing is just put all files, then you'll see everything. Or you can just use actually the text files like that. You can see these 4 files we just created and is saved. But to show you that that is all we have here, I'll go and rather than using this text file, I can just quickly, easily, if you're not sure where it is, what extension and all that, just click on the all files. And in this case, showing all files, and that is all there is, all the text files. So for now, I'm going to go change it back to what it was, all text, all Excel files rather. I'd come out of it. So in here, so we are in the text file directory right now, but let's go and put it quick back to the user file. Now, easiest way and the quickest way I suggest you do is go into the utility menu and change the user's own directory. Right, we are back to the actual F:\AZMAT. To show you that that is the case, file open, you will see the F:\AZMAT. The reason is F is because that's where I've actually I'm using AZMAT system from there. I could have used G directory or C or D or wherever, and that's what it is. So that is not important which letter is showing. And as you can see, your AA.XLSX or .XLS for earlier versions of Excel, they're all stored in this users directory. Cancel that. Now, I want to see, as we have already seen in that area, but let's show it within AZMAT system what you need to do. So go here, go to the Y menu if you want to see the files. Use this here. Change to AZMAT query text file. Similarly, we have also got the bond database file and volatility and correlation files as well. You can change from here, either from the risk management menu, which is on Y menu, or you can choose from the utility menu, U menu as well. In fact, in U menu, you have two other directories you can change to, and one of them is the user's own directory, and the second one is the program directory. These three commands are the same in the Y menu as well. They are there. The reason they are in the Y menu is because that's where you'd probably be, you need to access them quickly without having to go change to another menu. Because all these three commands are applicable only in here in the Y menu one. So I have it here. I can quickly change to the AZMAT system query text file and then look at it if I want to. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. Let's now, that was something I just wanted to show you where these files are stored. Now, in addition to the result of the query, this file contains first two lines from the volatility file. So let's close this now. I can click there, or I can just click there and press the escape key. I'm out from there. So the first two lines in here are from the volatility file. Always, all these results query, the first two lines, the top two lines, first two lines are that. And then they followed by the command letter or character, I should say. In this case, it's 1, and because that is what it is. So file, Y menu, and that is the one. That's the command, in this case, command character, I should say, because it could be a letter or number. So that's what that is after that. And then the ID of the user, which, for example, in this case, if I look at it, I'm just going to come out of it. AA, that's my ID. I'm the user two-letter ID. So in your case, whatever your two-letter ID is, it will be there after the in the actual file, so that then everyone knows who created that particular file. Then followed by that, the date and time of the command. So then in here you have the date, 15th of August 2018. This is, I'm from UK, and here we have the date, day, month, and the year. So we prefer that way. I know in the US it's the other way around. You have the month, the day, and then the year. It doesn't matter. It will do in whichever format you want. You can change it if you like, if yourself. So it'll show you in the way you want it to. Not only that, you can also have the actual in the date format. You can have the actual day itself shown as well if you want to. So it would show in this particular case, for example, 15th August 2018 could be Wednesday, because 15th August 2018 is Wednesday. Wednesday, it could be just a whole name, whole word, Wednesday, or just WED or whatever. And the year as well could be just two character if you want, just two numbers or four or whatever. You can decide and do yourself in your program. You can do that. And it also states in the last line how many records were matched. So if you go back down there, matching data, JPY, that was the currency for this particular file. You can see that JPY 21 matching records were found. Remember, in case of Go, here, only one matching record is found. That is it, end of command there, from there to there. In fact, it's got just one matching record, and all this data is the same as on all the other files, first 5 lines. And so that's when no long at the end of this command, a message displays stating the number of matching records found, if any. If there are no matching records, it will say so. When no longer required, this file should be closed by the user. Answer no to save any changes. Note that it is also immediately available to all other users. Because these files we are saving under the AZMAT text directory or folder, which is a subfolder or subdirectory of AZMAT System program directory. Everybody else who is using it in your company setup. Remember, this AZMAT system is designed for several users, multi-users, could be hundreds of users using it from the same area. That's why we always are using the 2-letter ID so that everybody knows who created the file, a particular file. But on your own PC, of course, you'll be the only user, and it doesn't really matter whether it's under the AZMAT system folder, subdirectory, or in your own area you would like to use, save it. Now, most of these other descriptions are very similar. So first, we've just gone through this one. We've gone through this all volatility for currency or commodity, that one. And I've done both daily and monthly volatility. Let's do now all correlation for currency or commodity. Let's close most of these files and just keep one as for reference if you like. Because ideally, you don't want to keep too many files open. If you don't need them, close them. So I'm going to close all of them one by one. I've used all these very useful icons from Excel. So I'm just going to use this to close. Don't save. Don't make any changes. Don't save any changes, rather. Excuse me. Okay. I'm going to close this as well. I'll keep this one on. Monthly volatility there. And this one is for GBP. This is JPY. Just close this one. Don't save any changes. Now, if you look at it here, we have this is the user file, and this is the one query file. I'm keeping just one open for now. So it's the monthly volatility, GBP. So we go here, Y menu, And I'm going to use the second one now, this one, all correlation for currency or commodity. Now, all these actual, the questions it asks will be almost exactly the same as the ones for the other ones. So we won't go through in detail, but we will just go through here now, one by one, as it comes. I won't go to waste your time explaining, but I need to change the main. So I'm going to use the daily correlation. So DC for correlation. And 1229, that is correct. Leave that there. And the folder is the same, the directory folder, that's where it's stored. Okay. And this one is correlation, say for JPY is there because that was the last I had used. I'll leave that there. So for the Japanese yen, get the correlation for basically all the correlations for this particular currency. It could be anything, could be, currency or commodity. So we'll leave it at this point for JPY. Let's see. Make it slightly longer because correlation file is very, very large, nearly 115,000, more than 115,000 rows. Note you have always give this, okay, finish that, but that was the please wait. I use that file always so that you let the user know that it is doing something and should not interrupt in the middle. So AZMAT System has completed the current command. 9,891 matching records were found. See, so it's not too bad. It only took probably, 20 seconds maybe, maximum 30. And it's got nearly 10,000 records from 115,000 and something correlation file, as you know from the previous commands. In fact, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to get a quickly one of the correlation file openers, and not the whole file, but just do a summary so you'll see in a minute. Anyway, in this particular case, 9891 matching records were found, and it shows you that for JPY. This is the same first row, and then tells you it's correlation file Y menu, and the command character is number 2, because this could be letter or number. So that's why I'm calling it character. And done by AA, my initials, this date and this time. Right, let's have a quick look at this. So if I now actually split the window, as you can see here, so 9891, nearly 10,000 rows, right? So we are here 9898. It's because you've got these headings as well, plus these extra ones. So all the correlations matching against all the other currencies and instruments. As you can see that here, if you go through that slowly, quite a lot. Now what we could do, next one actually, what we'll do the actual, to see what it's doing, be more interesting, is to, sorry, one other thing I want to show you was I was going to overdo another command to show you. I don't need to here. I can see that it's on the top, it shows 115,921 rows are in this particular correlation file. And from there is picked out the correlations for Japanese yen against all the other instruments of commodities, currency, commodities, and so on. So it gets the all correlation for currency commodity, gets the correlation for all instruments of a given currency or commodity. Now we'll call it instruments. That might sound a bit strange and odd, but that's what is used in this particular industry. So don't worry about it, what it is called, but that's what it is. Now I'm going to do another one here. I'm just going to make this file slightly smaller so we can then see. We'll go in here, same command, but before I use this command again, get the correlation. So where was I in here? All correlation currency commodity. Before I use it again this time, I'm going to just go in here in the utility menu, Y, and I'll say screen update on or off. So right now, in the previous command we saw, screen update was off. So if you didn't actually see anything what it was doing other than that please wait file, and then we got the actual resulting file. So this time I'm going to say screen update on off. Normally it's off. You could have in your ini file, in my case it'll be like aa.ini or aa, with my ini file in there. Sorry, aa.ini.xls or .xlsx. That file I can change so that before every session it will pick up my preferences. But I've kept it off to begin with always. But we'll go into that file later on. But now, for now, I'm going to turn the screen update on. Right? Click OK to turn on all screen updates, or click cancel to turn on screen updates for only cash flows or discount factor days. Now, because Excel only lets me choose in this particular case for when I'm asking queries, I have a question to ask here. So I only have OK or cancel buttons, only two buttons. There are some other commands, but we won't go into that now. So I've decided to use it. The actual cancel won't actually cancel this command. It actually will be updating only screen updates of the cash flows or discount factor commands. These are in the rates environment. In the earlier, you will see in the tutorials. So I'm not going to go into that now, just to let you know what they are. If you haven't seen those tutorials, you'll watch those. So for this one, I want to turn on all the screen updates. So I'll click OK. So now it confirms that as from now, AZMAT System will display on screen all commands as they are carried out. Use this command again to turn off this feature. So it basically toggles. This command is on and off. So if it's off, it turns it on. If it's on, it turns it off. So this is just to confirm. Just click OK now. So I know now the command. So I've now turned. You see here extra screen screen update on off. See, it's on off on off. All these commands are on off. So if it's on, it turns it off. If it's off, it turns it on. Toggles between one to the other. So we will go back here this time, and this time we'll use. I'm just going to go in here, show you this here, so we can see the end of this file. We did this for Japanese yen, JPY currency, 9,891 matching records were found for that. So this time we'll actually use, instead of currency, actually we'll use gold, commodity, right? So all correlation for this time I expect to see not one record, as we found for the volatility, but because its correlation is this against other currencies or commodities, all instruments of that. So we should see definitely more than one. See how many there are. And while it's doing that, the screen should show what's actually happening, which files is opening, closing, and so on, if there are any, which let's see what happens here. So, but there will be, okay, let's just do it. All currencies, all correlations for currency or commodity. So I'm going to use that command again, number 2. See, that one was 2 for JPY. This time I'm going to use for gold, same command, Y menu, number 2 command there. So DC, yeah, daily correlation, 1229, that, okay. And that's the same directory for that. And this one, JPY, is showing, I'm going to change it to code, GLD, code. So see, it says here, enter the 3-character currency commodity code only. Don't enter anything else, just some. In upper or lower case, for example, US dollar or Deutsche Mark. Okay, just to make it more interesting, if you like, instead of 3 characters, I'm just going to put X as well there. Doesn't really mean anything, and it's got 4 characters. So AZMAT System is you. When you get to start programming, you'll find that it's your job to track down all users. Don't expect the user to do exactly always what you want them to do. Expect them anything they will do, and you as a programmer should take care of it. So it should come up with some kind of error message. So enter correlation data, enter the 3-character currency commodity, 3 characters asked for. I've actually gone back again, same one, we just converted uppercase. Not going any further. Would have been better, in fact, actually, to say it's 3 says for 3 characters. You can see it's 4. So in some other cases, like file name, if you enter long, I've actually made it more, tell them it's error and you should enter this and that. But in this case, they can read it. I'm expecting them to read, just there's not much to say here. 3-character currency code, currency or commodity code. So I'll leave that there. Of course, if I enter something which doesn't exist, for example, I don't, this is because I use the arrow, left arrow to go there. But in Excel, it's moving like that. So if I use a mouse, for example, I don't think there is any currency or commodity GLX. I don't think so. Maybe wrong, but let's see. Should come up saying there is no such currency or commodity or no record matching record found. Error. GLX is not a valid currency or commodity code. Click OK to return to the input box. Click cancel to cancel this command. Now I could have used this error code for GLDX, which I had entered first. Remember, first time I thought I went 4 characters there. But because it's so silly mistake, I didn't want to waste time getting this one here, because I'm asking for 3 characters, enter 3, and there. But now that I deliberately entered an invalid currency or commodity, because there is no such currency or commodity that is called GLX. So it's come up with an error message. Okay, click OK to return, or I could cancel the command. Cancel, that's it. I don't have much choice. I will cancel the command or go back, click OK, and we'll go back to that box. So this time I will enter, right, I can enter capital and the uppercase and lowercase, doesn't matter, mix it, whichever we like. AZMAT System will automatically convert always to uppercase and then work. Right, okay, so for gold, I'm saying get all the Currency gets the correlation for all instruments of a given currency or commodity. So gold against everything else, all the other currencies and commodities, right? Now for JPY, we had 9,891 matching records. For gold, I expect them to be much lower number. Now you can see, because we changed it to the see what's happening, update the screen message, so you actually can see as it's getting all the done, finished. So even though in the background, you actually have the please wait file, which is there, but you didn't see that because you then because you said in here, we said update screen screen messages, not screen messages, I think it's screen update, turn it on. So that's why it was actually showing you this file as it was getting this. So AZMAT System is complete, 481 matching records were found. Okay. I can't show you the other, that this file, if you can just about see in here, the one behind this file is the one which was, this is the one. I can't go, if I click it won't go there because I've got a message box open here. In Excel, you can't do that. If I try, even if I try to click here, it won't go there. It will actually probably give a bell or whistle to tell me it's not, I can't do that. Well, you can't see it, but it's not giving any bell whistle, but it's not doing that. I have to click, the only choice is this is what's open. I have to click OK first. And then when I do that, more likely that file will disappear, the one which was there. What I'm going to do to show you that in a minute, I'm going to put these files slightly and we'll use this command again. Anyway, main thing is here, 481 matching records were found. Click OK, fine, finished. Right, and that file has disappeared, ZZZ. Right, let's show you. That was the one which I had. So I'm going to move this here. This was the one JPY with 9,891 matching records. Gold, on the other hand, has 481 matching records. Same correlation file with 115,921 rows. So I'm going to move this as well here slightly. In fact, I'll just make it slightly smaller. And this other one. There. So this time, now this is AA.XLSX. So we will hopefully see the file which I say, which says, please wait. ZZZ something. Okay, so we'll see this time. Now this time I'm going to use, instead of gold, 481, we'll use the even bigger one. Why not? Let's go back to one of these currencies. So remember, this is the reason we saw while it's happening that the screen update, because I had in here U menu. Before I use this command, I had turned the screen update feature on off. I had turned it on. It's more interesting, depending on these commands, what's happening, because rather than have it off, of course, once you know what's happening, you want it very quickly, then just do it, because it does slow down the actual command, but not that much on the modern fast machines. Older machines, it will definitely be noticeably slower. In this case, it's just an interesting feature, I think. So we have it here. Right, this time you get the correlation. Again, all correlations for currency or commodity. We got it for JPY currency. This is the volatility, the correlation with this one. I go back here. Remember, I had the menu down, but because this is different, then I clicked on here, it came here. But the other case, when we had actually a message box, Excel message box, saying that how many records were found. Then I had to click OK. It didn't go to another file when I clicked on the mouse. Nothing happened. Okay, so in here, I just wanted to show, because this was the volatility one. This is the correlation one. In fact, actually, let's just, we'll close this volatility file. Because in volatility, just to show you here, the whole volatility file had 481 rows. And in here, 21 matching records were found for GBP. I'm going to close this particular. I could use just this one to close. I might as well just, it doesn't really matter. If it says save any changes, answer always no. Don't save any changes. Right. So now we have, I'm going to make this file slightly, not file, yeah, there, so we can see the other file which I was trying to show, which we couldn't see before, but this time we hopefully will. Right, so we had this is the correlation to daily correlation, another daily correlation. I'm going to just try for the monthly correlation and see what happens. I have not prepared that particular one, but I'll show you that later. First, I'll do that and you'll see what I mean. Right, so we'll do that. We'll leave the screen update feature on. And I'm going to do all correlation for currency or commodity. So instead of daily, I'm going to choose monthly, say monthly correlation file for this particular date, 12/29. So there is my full name of the correlation file, and then click the OK button. So I click the OK button, and the directory or folder, that's where it's supposed to be. And so this is for gold, but this I really wanted to I could use another currency like silver, platinum, or whatever, as long as it's a valid currency, valid commodity or currency. But instead of that, let's use here. We'll use say let's use USD, US dollar correlation, all for that. And this time I expect, because it's a currency, it has more instruments than, for example, commodity gold. 481 matching records. For the currency JPY, we had 9,891 matching records. So for US dollars, it'll be somewhere in the order of that, as opposed to 481. However, remember this time, now these others we had asked for the daily DC, daily correlation, DC, daily correlation for both gold and for the JPY currency. This time I've selected the MC, if you remember in the previous command, and but for currency US dollar. So I'm asking it to get it from the monthly correlation for that date. Now there is a certain command which I have not used it yet on that particular monthly correlation file. So see what happens now. I'll show you the command in there. I can't go there now because whenever you have some message box, input box open in Excel, you cannot just go and do something else. Excel insists you must finish either use it OK or cancel button before you can do something else. It won't do anything else. So I'll show you the command in a minute later once we go past this command. So saying here for US dollar, get that. OK. Well, it is getting from there. You can see this file here behind this ZZZ. That's what the one with the please wait, which you normally see. But in here, because we've turned the screen update feature on, it's actually showing you what it's doing. Remember the very first time, and this is where all these things what you see are here. It's getting each one row at a time, very briefly, fraction of a second they are there, and then it's going. And so remember, it's expecting around 9,891 thereabouts, same as for the JPY, approximately or exactly the same. Depends on how many instruments it has. Instruments, all the instruments basically are there. You are done, finished. You may have now. You saw where the whole dark blue was. That was the AZMAT System user file, A0129. This is the file behind there. It says that that's the one which says please wait. You cannot see it just behind there. Right, it's completely 9,891 matching records were found. Okay, finished. And that ZZZ file you cannot see behind is actually closed it. It's not really closed, it's hidden it. It's keeping it in here. If you see here at the moment, you can see in here all these text files and the user data file is here. But if I click the unhide command, I can see this file. Says that the underscore 034, that's the one I'm using here to show please wait. Simply unhides it, keeps it there, and then hides it after it's finished a particular command. Right, so this one, I'm just going to make it a smaller one so we can see what's happening here, compare with the other perhaps. Right, so we have DC, daily correlation, for JPY 9891, US dollar 9891, same number of matching records for daily or monthly, same. That. Now the command I was talking about here in Y menu. So this you can get it for all volatility or currency or commodity or all correlation for a particular currency or commodity. This is getting from this huge file where it's got 115,921 rows of data. Now, when you start getting the, when you want to get a single volatility or correlation data, AZMAT System needs to prepare that huge file. But in case of volatility, it doesn't matter. There's not so many. It's about 421 records or something. But for correlation, it makes a huge difference, big difference. It's 115,921. It needs to prepare that file before it can use it. So when we come to use that, I'll show you that it can do that for a particular volatility. I have already prepared using these. Prepare the volatility file or prepare correlation file. Now, you do not need to do that every time you use the command. It only needs to be done once for a particular correlation file, daily one and the monthly one separately. But for a volatility file, when you can use that command, it does both daily and monthly with a single command straight away because the files are not that long, not much huge. And we will see that when we come to use these commands. I'll show you that later. Let's just continue with these commands as we are doing here now. So we've done the all correlation for that. Let's just close. Before we go on those, I want to close some of these. I don't particularly like having too many files open when you don't need to. We'll keep one of these open maybe. Let's close this one. I can use that or use that or from file close. So let's do file close. That's what I have it open. Always answer don't save. I don't save any changes. to the original, the one XL and AZMAT system prepared for you. So close that. And in here, one other one I want to show. I want to keep this one, US dollar one. Not that it makes much difference, or gold. In fact, let's keep both of these because they are different size. So it's got gold has got 481 matching records, and the US dollar has got 9,800. All the other currency also same. So let's go here. So just looking at it, we've got 3 files open. Use the data file and that and that. So we've done the volatility and correlation, all the correlations for currency, commodity. Now the other things, parts of it, the fact that it's usually 6 characters of this query file name are the same as the JPM correlation. Yes, that let's just very briefly have a look at it before we go to the command, change the command. So in here, I'm just going to move it down slightly so I can see, make it smaller. So when that actually becomes bigger, I can still see that here. So the first, you can see DC 1229. So 4 plus 2, 6. So the first 6 characters, saying here MC 1229, are the same as the actual correlation file name. If you remember, the correlation file name was MC or DC 1229. So in this case, it was the monthly correlation for the US dollar I used. So MC 1229.00.rn3 it was. So it takes the first 6 characters are the same, and the goal, it was the daily correlation, so DC 1229. So the first 6 characters of the query file are the same as the correlation file, followed by 2 characters which distinguish it from any other query file for the relevant correlation file. Last 4 characters are .txt, always, text.txt. So these 2, _2, _1, and so on, will be simply created by AZMAT System as used on the next query file. And just if you use the, in this case, happens probably not a good example because this is a monthly and that was a daily, but I actually had already created the one before, another daily one, and this that's why it's number 2. And monthly correlation is the first time I'd used, that's why it's got number 1 there, _1. Next time monthly correlation I use, that will have _2. Although this has _2, but this was for a daily correlation. That's why I said it's probably not a good example to look at it now. So again, similar to the volatility file, the first 2 lines are the same from the correlation file, followed by the command identifier, which is Y menu command 2. Not the second. 2 doesn't mean second command, it means the letter 2, or character 2, I should say. Right? So in here there are letters, and you have numbers, and we have more letters, and so on. So this is, you could say, second. So say the first character of the command. Then you don't need to worry about whether it's a letter or a number. So this was for the all correlation for currency or commodity. So now we will go to the next command, which is in here, same instrument, correlation for currency or commodity. Now you will see what I mean. Let's just first we'll keep the screen update feature on. It is more interesting, so we can see what's actually happening. So same instrument correlation for currency or commodity. It gets the correlation for same instrument of the second currency or commodity versus first currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. It'll be much simpler with actually an example. So, right, against a given currency and instrument or commodity and instrument, this command retrieves all correlation data of the same instrument type as that entered for a second currency or commodity. Let's see what happens. Let's do an example. The user is required to enter first currency or commodity code, followed by its instrument code, then second currency or commodity code. Right? So please enter full name of the correlation file and then click the OK button. So that is the one. Let's use this monthly correlation file we have here. Same, that's a folder directory. Now after this, now we come to do this, because the file name, you have to give the currency commodity file. In this we are doing correlation, so it had to be correlation file name. Done the folder directory where it's stored. Now, please enter first currency or commodity, instrument, then second currency or commodity in upper lowercase, and separate each item by a comma, for example. So the first currency, say US dollar, and so it could be currency or commodity, comma, instrument rates 30 days, 030. I'm using 0 here because it could be 180 days. So I want to make sure it's easier to see, and in programming you'll find this much easier sometimes to keep it very consistent. And in this case, I'm using, rather than R30, R030. So rates, so in here, for example, you have 360 days, or R180, 180 days. So it makes more sense. So that's why I'm using US dollar, say USD R030, right? Instrument. Then second currency or commodity after we have done that. So it could be USD R030, comma, second currency or commodity. So the second currency or commodity is, in this case, the GBP. Or you could say Deutschmark, DEM, the first currency or commodity, comma, SE, that's the instrument for that, and then the second currency or commodity. In this case, because I'm using that, so I'm using that. Okay, so same. So you could do that. Yeah. So this one, just to recap, what it does, correlation for same instrument of second currency or commodity. So in here, I have used first currency. I have used R030, 30-day rates. So for GBP, it will also get it for same instrument. So the instrument is R030, 30 days. So you do not enter it again for that. That's what it means. You only enter it, it gets the, so correlation for same instrument. Remember, for second currency, same instrument as for the first currency. So in this case, in this example, the instrument is SE for Deutschmark. For JPY, then it expects you for the same instrument, so for the SE instrument for JPY. get that correlation. That's what it is. You'll know as soon as you start using these commands, it hopefully will become, it'll become more and more familiar to you. Right, so let's enter. So in fact, I'm going to use this exactly same as is shown there. Although you can change it later, we will probably go and to use some other examples as well. But let's just use this so we can see that. So I'm saying USD, comma, R030. In fact, I don't actually need to use exactly, so I won't use exactly then. But it has to be a valid one. So let's say R180. Don't have to use exactly as I'm showing in the example here. So I'm using for US dollar 180-day rates, and you may notice I'm actually using a small r. Doesn't matter. I don't have to use capital R. In my programming, I have always entered it, convert it myself as a programmer should convert it always to uppercase if that's what you want. See, don't always expect user to do it for you, every single thing, exactly as you want. And it's a very simple command to actually convert it all. So why not? Just one simple command makes my life much easier for the user. So I'm saying for first currency, no, I'm not going to say currency commodity, it's getting maybe you might get a little bit confused. So let's just say one. So in here I'm using currency. For the first currency, US dollar, the instrument is 180-day. Rates are for rates 180-day, comma, separate each one by comma. Yes, separate each item by a comma. So again a comma, and this time expects me to give the second currency or commodity. So I'll use GBP. As you can see here, I've used capital G, small b, small p. Doesn't matter. You can use any, and this US dollar is all lowercase. You can enter in any order you like. So I'm going to use the small GBP. In fact, I'll make capital P. Doesn't really matter. So I'm saying for this particular currency, US dollar, instrument is 180-day rates. For this one, against to get the correlation for same instruments for British pound sterling GBP, for this instrument R180, get the correlation. That's what this is. So the user is required to enter the first currency or commodity followed by its instrument code. That's instrument code R180. I've entered the second currency or commodity code. So AZMAT system, what it will do now when I click OK, retrieves all correlation data of instrument type R for GBP against US dollar R030. That was this for this example. But in here, so the instrument is R. So for all the instrument for GBP, so R030, R090, R180, R360, and so on. But not, don't say, I'm not saying go and get for the S0234 and all that, or Z023, whatever. No. Get only for the instrument type is the rates. For rates, get all the rates for that. Not just for the, but against, correlation against the R180 US dollar, get for the all the rates for the same instrument. Right, let's see. So here, I click OK, and this time again, because my screen update feature is still on, I haven't changed it, we should see what it's doing. So click OK. There, you saw briefly the please wait. And now you can see that here, it has to keep changing different files. That's why you saw the screen was changing. And because we said screen feature, update feature, I want it on. And briefly, you saw this file is the one. You can't see behind it in here is a please wait file. And then you saw the blue, that was the one with the user data file. So briefly saw that when closing, changing files. Anyways, complete the command, 4 matching records were found. So it's got GBP rates, 30 days, 90 days, 180, 360 days rates against the, remember what we had entered was US dollar R180, right? So US dollar R180, that was the one for GBP, all the rates against US dollar R180 get the correlation. So it's a correlation there. So hopefully it is clear, but if it's not, don't worry. We're going to do more commands here until it becomes clear, if you like. So let's go here this time. Remember, this command is very different to these two commands. These are for correlations. Get for a particular currency or commodity. In this case, it was US dollar, 9,891 matching records, because it's getting it for against all the for US dollar, basically against all of instruments and commodities and so on. Whereas this one was gold, 481, because it doesn't have so many instruments, if you like, to match. It's 481 because it's a commodity, whereas the currency has more instruments. Whereas this one here, if you see here, in fact, let's have a quick look on this file here, see if we can actually see where those four for the GBP against the US dollar. Let me see, let's show you. I think we should be a little bit more interesting. We should be able to see it. Let's put it here. Now, so what we are saying is against the US dollar R180, get the correlation for GBP, all the rates. So the rates GBP 30 day, 90 day, 180, 360. So we should be able to find, because there are not so many, only 4, but let's see here. So first thing I need to do here is go down here, get the US dollar. I've got the US dollar. Now I also want to see the GBP. What currency is GBP? It is in here, as you can see here, alphabetical order. So we are going in the right track. C, D, DKK, F, G. We're nearly there. Now, I'm just going to bring here GBP. Now, we got the instrument is S02, 03 or 4. I'm not interested because here, the only instrument is going, same instrument, so R180, so it's 180-day rates, US dollar. So it's getting only for the GBP, all the rates matching instruments. Same instrument. So the instrument is rates. So it's not interested in the SO2 or these other things. So this GBP, I need to go until I find the rates. GBP, Z, no. Let's see. S. I'm just going to see where GBPZs. GBPS, GBPZs, GBPS, GBPS, E there, GBPS. See how quick the machine could create it so quickly. It's taking me so long to actually find where it is because it's such a huge file. Oh, wait a second, where is the US dollar? I've gone well past it. US dollar, US dollar. It is there somewhere. I have to find GBPS. GBPZ. I don't know, it's somewhere there. This huge file. GBPZ. Remember, we're looking for just 4 out of 115,921 rows. No wonder it's taking. Yes. Yep. Oops. GBP. Pause that. Yep. SSS. GBPZ. See, I'm looking for against the R180 GBP R030, 90, 80, 160. Taking quite some time. Because the order I expected in this, not this, but it is there somewhere. GBP SE, see that? No, it's now going into the actual commodities. I don't know, it's there somewhere. You can see from there to there, I'm only like 40% of the file. So it is there somewhere. I don't think we want to waste any more time to trying to find where it is. Oh, it is. But I don't understand why is it GBPSC has to be there somewhere, because these four were extracted from this huge file, so they must be there. Not a question of getting lost. That's where it got it from. Anyway, this is changed. It has to be the one which is the US dollar rates 30. That's what I'm looking for. From against there, these are all commodities, as you can see here: zinc, platinum, nickel, so on, copper, gas, gold. Is there somewhere within that file, GBP. I'll tell you what I'll do is, instead of actually going down now here, right, let's do the same here. You can see that here are the US dollar 360 against, here we have GBP, Z0234, all that. So instead of looking for the rates one, I'll use, because it's so difficult to find these four records in 115,000 was under. Let me see something which we can see easily already, and then we'll go and look for that. Then we can just see it here. That might be the best way. So if I say same instrument I'm looking for, isn't it? So I really wanted something here, R, or for something else. If it is there, I'll use that one. There was something here. There. Great. Found something here. So we can see it, because I want you to see what I mean here. So this time what we are going to do is, it is there. I can, trust me, these four records it found are here somewhere within 115,921 rows of data. However, we haven't got time to go around waste to actually look for. But now here I can see that there is an example here. Same 100, say R US dollar R180, 180-day rates. So if you got the US dollar R180 from here, that's 90. So now it's 180 there, going down, but against the euro. So instead of looking for GBP, here it's right in front of me. I can see against the euro rates, same instrument, rates. So we got the 30, 90, 180, 360 there. Okay, so let's do that. In fact, just before I do that, let me, so in here, this is 3439. row. Just before I go and do that, I will come back to it in a minute. I just want to see one other thing. I have got an idea here that this possibly might be. Was it all of there, VEF? So 3439, we'll just go down here and come back in a second. EFG, BP. No, it hasn't got in here the race. Okay, I'm not going to waste time looking for that. 3439, we just did here 3439. There. What we do have here, in fact, I'll put it right at the top. So the first row here, R180 US dollar 3439, we'll put it here on the top. There. I can see that here. US dollar R180 against, so the same instrument. So remember, it's not 180 only, the instrument is R. So the rates for the euro are 030, 090, 180, 360. So these four will do this time, but this time use the currency euro. And we should see, straight away, we should be able to see this here. Now, this is not going to change this file at all because it's not actually looking for this one. This particular one was what? This one was the, originally I had asked for the US dollar 100, and this text file, which I did for the correlation. I get all the correlations, so it should be there somewhere for against the GBP as well. But let's not waste time on that. Let's go for, I'm going to this time look for in here this new file, the other file it will create, and then I can just see here these four rows should be in there in the new file. So we are going to use the same again, US dollar R180. So the currencies are US dollar. The instrument is R180, 180-day rates. And the second currency or commodity will be euro, EUR. Right? And should get these four correlations in there, in the new file. So here, so I want same instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So I'm going to select same monthly correlation one. Save the folder directory, that's where it's stored. And I'm going to leave this R US dollar, that R180, same like before. Same R180, right? All R180, but this time I'm going to change the currency to euro, EUR. And these are the four you should pick up. Those four against GBP are there somewhere in this file, huge file, but I don't want to waste time looking for it. And we're just going to take this off, EUR. So for euro currency, for the instrument R against the US dollar R180 to get all the correlations. Error. EUR is not a valid currency or commodity. Click OK to return to the input box. Click cancel this command. Right. It is not accepting that, I'm afraid. Let's try. I'm slightly puzzled by that, actually. It's got here EUR. I think I had the actual euro at that time, probably was XER, I remember. I don't know. For some reason in here, it's not going for that. Let's try here. I'm going to use this here. See whether this gets it under the ZAR. Not sure whether, because here for these as well, I can see. No, it's not accepting these, I'm afraid. So can't go through that command there now. I wanted to show you, but I can't. So it's not a valid currency or commodity code. So we can't do that. Cancel this command now for now. Let me see. That particular one here, why is it not coming? I have no idea. Because it's here. Okay, we can choose some other BEF SO4S. Okay, let's use this one here. Belgian franc against the US dollar. What we can see, S. So if I use BEF S, say for 07, US dollar, then for all the S instrument against the Belgian franc. Let's try that. So S07, I'm going to use that. It is the second row from there. Okay, let's try that. So Belgian franc, BEF, I'm going to use S07. So you can see all that here. And I want the second currency will be US dollar. So all the instrument type S against that. So you should get the SO2 and a whole lot going down here up to US dollar Z02 that no. So right, let's try S. Let's see. Why? So BEF SO7. So I want the same instrument. So BEF SO7 then US dollar. Same instrument. So that's the right, leave that there, same. And I'm going to use BEF Belgian franc, and I am going to use S07, S07, completely remove the R180, and for the second currency, I'm going to use US dollar, USD. But it can't tell me all. Shouldn't tell me US dollar is not valid currency commodity because it is. Let's see what happens on here. So BEF S07 is the instrument. So for the instrument type S for US dollar all, so not just S07, SO2, 03, 04, 5, and so on. That's what I'm saying. Let's see what happens. Great. 6 matching records so far. So Belgian franc S07, US dollar S02, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Right, so this time it's got that. Now let's see. We'll look at that file where this we just saw. So Belgian franc S07, that's the one there. But the instrument type is S for sugar, right? S. For that, get all the correlations for the second currency is US dollar for instrument type S. So from this second row, SO2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. Get that. So as you can see, this is here. If I bring it nearer, maybe you can see it's the second row. There. So for Belgian franc S07, instrument for all instrument type S. So S02, 3, 4, 5. So this is it. 56, 1700, 56, 29, 14, and so on. Now I have no idea why it was complaining about the other one we entered just earlier on, where you could see the EU. I have a feeling that actually, yes, I think I know why, because at one time the commodities, the code, not commodity, the code for the euro was sometimes used EUR, as I saw that in the file there, or sometimes XEU. That's why it's sort of it just rejected that code as invalid. You will see that in some other tutorial. You will see that actually that is correct, because yes, it is XEU in some cases, but in these files, this particular, not in this file, this particular commodity file, it was being used as EUR. Was it EUR? Yes, but somewhere else in the actual, at the time when I started programming there, they had changed it. The commodity was the currency, that particular one changed to XEU. So it was unfortunately a bad example I chose. But the currencies here, as you can see now here, US dollar, Belgian franc, or that, get it there. We'll do another example here just to show you that I really, this means that we'll just completely ignore, we'll not use XEU or EUR, because then sometimes in some files it was used as EUR, as you saw in here. We saw that clearly, and then there is just complained that it's not, doesn't exist, not a valid name, or a concealed commodity. Where was it? EUR, there. You can see in front of us, we can see that is there. But the reason it complained that in the program here is not a valid currency or commodity, because this EUR was changed to XEU at a certain date in time. And the file we are using, 122900, is an earlier one. At that time, it was a valid one. So let's not go into that. But you can see I can do the same here now. For example, Aussie dollar, Australian dollar here. We'll do that here just to show you that it's really yeah, we leave the EUR, the first or second row, Aussie dollar there, Z. No, I need to use the same. So you don't have to use the R only. Let's use something else completely different. It doesn't have to be the rates code. I'm going to get an example here and then use that, so that the there it is. In fact, we'd use the S code there. So let's use something else. Don't have to use the S only. Yes. So here, for example, yes, MYR. I know this probably Malaysian rupee, I think. MYR against. So S. This is also SO2. I want to use some other instrument just to show you that it will get it for. Yes, let's go for here. Happens to be Belgium, but let's get Canadian one. Z. Yes. So this second row, I'm keeping deliberately here in the second row, so it does not, so we don't see, oh, we missed out something beginning. So we'll use Canadian dollar, Z02, right? So for all the Z instruments against happen to be US dollar here. But okay, let's keep it as, I don't know. Maybe get something else, see if I can find some US dollars here. No, it's going off. Let's not waste time looking for it. That's good enough example. So Canadian dollar, I'm going to put Z03, say, for example, here. Z03 is there. Doesn't really matter, because if I put Z03, because I'm saying instrument type Z for US dollar, get everything. So it should get all these other things. So we'll just do this last one in here. Get the same instrument correlation. So Canadian dollar, Z03, I'm going to enter. And against the second currency, commodities, US dollar. So leave that monthly correlation file and the folder directory name same, of course. And I'm going to change this to Canadian dollars, the CAD. And I'm going to say Z03. Doesn't really have to be, but doesn't really matter what I put in. Z02, Z03, or whatever, because remember, all we are saying is get it the same instrument type. It doesn't care whether you enter Z02, Z03, or whatever. So Z against the instrument type Z, same instrument for the US dollar, get all the correlations. That's what we're asking. So if I now click OK, it should go and get, for the Canadian dollar, instrument type Z, get all the correlations for US dollar. So here, Z02 against Z02, so it should get for Z03, which is here, Z03333, US dollar, all the, so there are quite a few actually, as you can see, it's got Z03, as for Z02, Z03, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10 probably there. So, okay. So get that. So it's around here, 7752 row, beginning there, roughly. There. Finished. 10 matching records. So if I go here, so Canadian dollar, Z03 for that. So instrument type is Z. Get all the correlations for, so for against Z03 Canadian dollar instrument type Z03. So Z0234. So this one here is Canadian dollars, so Z03, which is this one here. So I'm going to bring that up roughly same row as that one there, Z03. So we need to go back up one more. So if I put it here, Z03. So Z03, same row there. So Z02, US dollar, Z02, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 15, Z03, 20 year, 30 year. Again, another Z03, but not SC. Remember, we are saying instrument type Z. So Z03, but for the US dollar, the second currency, only get the instrument type Z, not, for example, instrument type SE. That's why I stopped here at Z30. So Z02, 3, 4, 5, 7 years, 6, 9, 10, 15, 20, 30 year. That get all against Z03. Remember, Z03 is going continuing here. But this instrument type is changed to SE. And the command is for the same instrument type. So instrument type Z against Z03. Get all the correlations. So it's got that and stopped here at Z30. And if you check the values, they should be the same. There. Basically, that's what it's called. Okay, so we have spent, I think, enough time on this. Let's just go through this, summarize what it actually does. So the user is required to enter the first currency or commodity code, followed by its instrument code. Then, second currency or commodity code, for example, like we saw that US dollar R030, GBP, and so on. So AZMAT System retrieves all correlation data of instrument type R for GBP against US dollar R030. So, for example, in here, I'm also going to do something else now, some other example. We won't actually, it's taken quite some time looking for these data. Just trust me, it is getting from this file, all the data here. And as you can see right in front of you, it's actually getting the required data. So we'll just do some more examples, but so you can just see the example, different type of examples. So let's just go through. Oh, but just before I do that, let's just close some of these files. Got quite a few open here. I don't want too many files open. So I'm just going to close some of these. I'll keep these here. As you can see, it's using the same monthly correlation data here. I'll start because we are right now here on 12/29/4, so the most recent are there. So let's close some of these earlier ones. In fact, no, sorry. I think I want to keep this just for a while. Later on, I would need this daily one and monthly one. 2, 3, 4. Some of these we can close. So let's close number 3. Doesn't matter what it is. We've already seen. Don't save. And the other one, number, which in this case it will be. This is one there. I want to keep these 2 recent ones. MC 12/29/1. No, I want to keep the daily, that one. This one I want to close. There. GBP there. So save. Okay. Let's, I mean, I don't have to close it, but I just don't want too many files opening, taking up space, and then I have to keep looking for which file it is. Right. Now we're just going to do some examples. Different there. We're not going to go start looking for it where it is, just taking too much time, and it's not worth it. And you've seen it. I've shown you examples here. For example, this one and that. The only one we couldn't find was the first one, the GBP. It is somewhere in there, but I'm not going to waste time looking for it anymore. So let's just go in here and enter some more examples and get something here. So I'm going to say, right, use this command. Just do some of these more here. Same correlation. Sorry, same instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So in here, I'm going to leave the file name same, folder same, directory is the same. So in here, I'm going to use now Deutschmark, for example. DEM and comma Z1, for example. Oops. Z1. Now, something slightly different I'm going to do. I'm going to put underscore. Right, so I'm saying Deutschmark, comma Z1 underscore, comma US dollar. So what this means is going to retrieve, AZMAT System now will retrieve all correlation data of instrument type Z for US dollar against Deutschmark Z10 and Z15. So if I enter an underscore, what I'm telling AZMAT System to do is treat this one, this number, this character, if you like, in here, in this position could be anything. So since we have like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, because I put 1 there, it will get the Z10 and also Z15. And if there were some other years, which I know there aren't, it would have got those. But for now, let's just do things one at a time. Then you'll see I'll go some other examples so you can get some idea. And we were not going to waste time looking for it in the file where it is. Okay, we're just going to do this here as to see just what it does. So get for all the instruments, all the correlations, what we are saying, correlation data of instrument type Z. The reason instrument type Z is it's only getting that, but against not just one like we were doing Z03, or in this case this happened to be Z03 or Z02 or R180. I'm saying get everything Z1. First character is 1, and then it could be second one could be anything. So it will be, in this case, it's 10 years, 10, and then it's a 15 years, so it's 15. So get the US dollar against all instrument type against Deutschmark Z10 and Z15. But for US dollar, the instrument type will be Z. Right? Hopefully, you'll see it when we actually see the result file. Then it will hopefully become much clearer. So, for example, here, let's not go into this Canadian one, but it's like this. So Z10, Z15, and you can see that here Z02, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 15, then 20, 30. If I had entered Z0, it'll be quite a few, because then it'll be Z02, 03, 05, 04, quite a lots of them. So for this way, let's get, this will be quite a few as well, but not so many. Right, for Z10 and Z15, for Deutschmark, instrument type, those two instruments, Z10, Z15 for Deutschmark, get all the correlation for US dollar Z type of instrument, right? So for US dollar would be everything, Z02, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to Z30 for both Deutschmark Z10, Deutschmark Z15. Okay, let's see. Click OK, and you should be able to see what it's doing because we're leaving the screen update feature on. Okay. Brilliant, 20 matching records. So we got here, if you see here, so Z10, because I said Deutschmark Z1 underscore. So underscore will stand for anything. So in this case, 0. So it's all Z10, Z15. And for the US dollar, it should get for instrument type Z. Doesn't matter whether it's not just for 10, 15, because all instrument types Z, type Z for the same instrument type. So instrument type is Z for US dollar, so 02, 3, 4, 5 up to 30. Then for Deutschmark Z15, it's getting 0 up to 515 up to 30. There, done that. So let's do some other one, because then you can get some idea how flexible it is, and you can, AZMAT System will really do it for you exactly what you want it to do. So we do the same command, same instrument, Now this time I'm going to use, so we're not changing the file name or the file directory where it is, just this here. So Deutschmark, reason is very flexible because it doesn't let you, well, not doesn't let you, it actually gives you the flexibility of changing the file name and the file directory. Each command, you could get it from wherever you like on the system. As long as it exists there, it will get that and do it. So here, this time we're going to say, let's stick to the Deutschmark, and we're going to use the S, instead of instrument type Z, I'm going to use S for sugar, say, S, and instead of 1, I'm going to use S0, and leave that underscore. So I'm saying Deutschmark, instrument type S0 underscore, get it for US dollar, leave the US dollar, same currency, doesn't do any harm, could be anything, but let's leave it there. So this time, let's see what will happen. What it should do is, for US dollar, S02345, all that, get everything for S, for Deutschmark, S0. In fact, for the Deutschmark, it'll be for S02, S03, S04, 5, whatever it is, for Deutschmark. Like here, Deutschmark, indeed, like this one was Z10, Z15. Because I put S0 underscore for S02, 03, 04, everything for each one, get for the US dollar all the instruments type S, right? So they're going to be quite a few, because if there are about like 10 here for each of these, so for S02, there will be all the instrument type S, then for SO3, SO4, for each one. So I'm expecting about roughly, nearly about 100 perhaps records, thereabout. Let's see what happens here now. $30 only. Oh, well, okay, let's see why it's got 30. Maybe that's all there is. That's why it's got that. So SO2, for SO2, all the way up to here. That's the reason, because for the Z instrument, there were 10, and Z10, Z15 there. We'll see why I thought it'll be about 100 and there are only 30. Because for the Z, there were, in here, as you saw here, 20 matching records, because for Z02, so Z10 rather, Z10, so 15, from row 6 to row 15. So there are 10 records, and then row 15 to row 16 to row 25, another 10. So there were 10 records here. And for each of those, you got the row 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way here. So there were 20 records total. So I thought there will be 10 for each, but SO2 for instrument type S, there are not 10 records there for each. SO2 has only got those 6. So for O3 as well, 2, 4, 6. That's why. So 6 for each of these. And then here we have, so the total is 30 matching records, because there's 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. So there's 3, 6 records for each time. So 6 times 5, 30. That's why there are 30. So it's not an error or anything. It's a mistake on my part, assuming that there would be, like for the Z, there were 10 for each. Or no, there are only, how many? 5 for each. So Z02, 3, 6 for each of these there. Z02, Z03, Z04, and so on. Anyway, this is what it is. So this command was to get for the Deutschmark DEM, S0 underscore. So the underscore would be whatever there is. So in this case, it is 2, 3, 4. Is this my latest file? Yes, 30 matching records. So 4, 4, then 5, then 7. There's no S06 here. Right, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 10, and so on. Okay, and so in here, so it's got here 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. And the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, and so on. Okay, so now I'll do less another example just to show you what you can do. We will go and get the, instead of another one here, just to go show you on the same so that you can see how you can get it to do. So we'll leave the file name same, file directory same, and instead of that, we're going to say S0 underscore for Deutschmark. This time I'm going to use S underscore, right? So what I'm telling AZMAT System to do is get anything, all the instrument basically beginning with S. It could be S02, 03, 04, 07, 05, whatever. All the instrument type S, basically, beginning with S. And for the US dollar, instrument type S, because for US dollar, it always got the instrument type, which is S. So effectively, basically, we're telling the system to get all the Deutschmark S instrument type against all the US dollar instrument type S. So this time, let's make another guess here. Now that we know in here, for US dollar, for example, we had 2, 4, 6. S02 to S10, 6 against S02, 03, 4. These were 5, I think, were they? 2, 4, 6, 6. 6 is 36. So you should have about SO2 against each of these. That, let's see. So for 6, so for each of these, basically match all the others, because that one we matched the SO2s, but this time if there are S10 as well, S15, 20. So let's just get it for basically for all the Deutschmark S instruments. Get the correlation for all the for instrument type S, basically effectively means the same against the one or against the Deutschmark against US dollar, correlation for all instrument type S. $36, 6 of each against S6. I didn't want to say 36 because just in case there may be more for one or the other. It will look, it could be different. But as you can see here, there are 6, 2, 4, 6. S02 to S10. And for this one, S02. So it's got up to there, then S3, 10, S4, 10, so on. So 6 is the 36. So it's got 36 matching records there. So that was that. Let's now then do something else. So we'll do some commodities just to show. So same instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So for commodity, we are going to say file name obviously is the same, direct file, folder directory is the same. Now instead of currency, because it's currency or commodity, remember? So I'm going to say copper. For copper, C, instrument type C. And because I'm saying C underscore, so it could be C whatever else, 03, 15, 27, whatever, get it against that. all of them, against gold. I wanted to get everything. GLD. So AZMAT System retrieves all correlation data of instrument type C. Remember, for the second currency or commodity, it only goes for the type, which is the first character. Against copper, C, anything beginning with C, basically. So copper 00, 03, 15, 27, and so on. Whatever. Get it for the instrument type C for gold. Get everything. What have we got? Only four matching records. So for copper, C00, 03, 15, 27, that's what we have. The actual for that copper, those four instruments. And for the gold, get all the instrument type C. So for gold, there is only 1, 0, 0. There's no CO3, C15, or C27. So that's why it's got that, everything. For this particular command, remember your command is here. Copper, that's what we had used. Okay, that command, for that particular combination, correlation, the command is actually the number 3, character 3 in here. There, that's the command code, first letter. First character is 3, number 3. Right, so copper C underscore, comma, one more will do here, but maybe one or two more perhaps. Let's do another one here. And this one I'm going to say, right, leave the file name same, folder directory same. This time I'm going to say copper, leave that, instead of gold, right, get against US dollar. So this time, what happens? See what happens. It should give an error message because US dollar does not have any commodity instrument type. So we are saying here, remember for the second one, is the instrument type for this. Get all the correlation. US dollar is a currency. So it doesn't have any instrument type, any commodity instrument type. C is for commodity. So AZMAT System won't just go around saying, oh, there's no records found. Should really give an error message. Because if this command is carried out, it will not result in any matching records. Right? If you say so. So you have to enter some reasonable, your command should actually be a valid command. So this is a completely nonsense command if we did actually type it in. So because it's not going to, the US dollar as currency doesn't have any commodity type instrument. Okay, so that's why it should come up with some error message that the US dollar does not have any commodity instrument type. Because that's what effectively you're saying it. Get all the correlations for instrument type C, which is commodity for US dollar. This is valid for copper, yes. For copper, it's a commodity, so commodity for this 00, 03, 15, 127, that's what we have. That's fine. But this type is not. Therefore, the currency US dollar is incorrect. If I put in another commodity, for example, gold, which I had done before, just before, that was fine because gold is a commodity, so it has this commodity instrument type, not US dollar, which is a currency. So it should get an error message here, there, error. correlation file, why many? That's my command thing. Command will not proceed if one is a currency code and the other a commodity code. Both must be currencies or commodities. Okay, so they both must be. You can't have a commodity and currency matching in the same command, because there won't be any. It has to be, both should be commodities or both should be currencies. That's what it's basically saying. Don't mix and match, because it just won't proceed, because it knows that there will not be, for example, for a commodity like copper or something, you will not find rates. So effectively, it's a silly command, so it won't proceed further. So click OK. Let's go back there now. So let's read it again. Command will not proceed if one is a currency code and the other a commodity code. Both must be currencies or commodities, right? So if the first one is a currency, the second one must also be a currency. If the first one is a commodity, the second one must be a commodity as well. Click OK to return. Okay, let's return. So this time we will try we'll try this other way around, and we should get an error message again. So what we're going to do is this first one, instead of copper, I'm going to change this to US dollar there, first one. And and I know that US dollar doesn't have a commodity term. We know that it doesn't, because in the previous command we just saw that. It's a currency. So this, if I enter this, it definitely will be an error message. We know that it'll be a stupid error for me to actually start entering, because US dollar doesn't have a commodity instrument term. So I'm going to use R for rates, which I know it has. Okay, so US dollar R underscore. That's fine. The first part. Now this one, instead of US dollar for the second one, this I'm going to try and mismatch again, try and enter copper here. Again, it should come up with an error message, because the first one is US dollar and the second is a currency, and the second one is a commodity, copper. And of course, copper doesn't have any instrument type R. Again, we should get the same error message as before. There, error, copper, correlation file. This is its correlation file by menu, third character command. Command will not proceed if one is a currency code and the other a commodity code. Right? So that if you enter the first currency, the second must be a currency. The first commodity, the second must be commodity. Both must be currencies or commodities. Okay, return. So we can try this one again here. Let's just give it one other one. Return gold. I'm just trying to think of something. US dollar rates. I've got all the rates against. Let's choose maybe GBP. Why not? Let's see. So US dollar rates, all the rates. Basically, you're comparing now both for the US dollar rates beginning 30-day, 30s, 60, 90, and so on, 30 or whatever, all the way 180, 360 days, and then the years as well here. Remember, we put R underscore. So anything basically beginning with the 10-year, 5, 10, 7, 30-year against this one here, GBP, all the instrument types. So basically, effectively saying all the rates, instrument types of US dollar for each of those against GBP. So this time, there will be quite a lot, substantially more than 4. Probably about 100, I think, this time, if I'm right, because the rates for each you have about 10, maybe wrong, but so 10 times 10, 100 roughly. Let's see. How many we've got? 16. Wow. Okay, my mistake. So you're getting GBP, R030, both are. So it's 30-day, 30-day, was for 30-day. And for this 30-day, 90. I'm actually slightly surprised because I said R underscore. My fault. Because then the other one, the years one I was doing, is not under this. It's not under the rates. It's a different one. Yes, it's different one. That's why. The type, instrument type is different. These are rates because the other one talking about the years and the instrument type is not R. It's different. That's why you're not getting. So you're getting R030 30 days, and for the US dollar, you have for each of these for this 30-day, you have 30, 90, 180, 360. Then the next one is our 90 and 90, then 36, 30, 90, 180, 360. And similarly, 180, 360. Right, the reason it's not, I'll just show you why it's not, why I was expecting and why it's not as I suggested it should be. Number, should really guess then, should I? Right, here. It doesn't mean it's an error or anything. It's not an error. It's just I was thinking of something completely different. So here we have you can see the years are Z, instrument type Z. It's different currency, but it doesn't matter. It's the same for all the currencies using Z, 10-year, 15-year, and then go on 20-year, 30-year. That's why. There's R, is the rates only here, 30-day, 30, 90, 180, 360. And that's why. Okay, so that's why we've got about 30 records. 16 matching records. We've got 30, 90, 180, 360, 4 for each type. So it's 30, 90, 180, 360. 4 times 4, 16. Right? Not 100, which it would have been if I had entered actually. Let's see whether if you enter, no, because I have to enter, I have to give it the first character instrument type for this particular one, get for that. So because for the same instrument type you're saying, so you cannot not have anything. You have to have the first letter, for example, in this case, R, Z, S, or whatever. So, but basically that's what it's doing. So when this command is invoked from wide menu, what it does, the first response asks you to enter the file name, then give the full path name, then enter the first currency or commodity code followed by its instrument code. So you have to enter one letter at least, one character. In this case, is R, could be S, could be Z. So, but for the second currency, it will get for that first character. So even whether enter is one or more, so you could put R030, then it will take for all the R, instrument type R gets for the second one. And the other thing to note is you cannot mix currencies and commodities in this command. Both must be either currencies or both must be commodities. Then it will go and get the right data. It will not proceed with the command if you have not got the correct input data. So the same thing applies as far as the file name is concerned. Don't think we need to repeat that because we did that earlier on. First 6 characters are the same as the file name, the actual currency or volatility or commodity file, volatility or correlation file name. So the ones we are using correlation file was MC1229.00.rm3. So all these text files you notice here, MC1229_7, 1229_9. We already probably have here 8 somewhere. We got there. Is it here, this one? Yeah, I think that's the one. MC1229_8, MC1229_5. So it actually starts with the 1, then just keeps on going up and up there. Okay, so we will now, so what is, anyway, file name exactly first character say, and then gives the 2 characters after that to make sure it distinguishes from all the other text files. And then follows last 4 characters are .text, txt. So in addition to your result, the first 2 characters, first 2 rows rather, are from the file. 115,921 rows and so on. Then in here, as like other files, gives the correlation file, then the command Y menu, command 3, first character is 3, and how many records found. And this was the actual your query data. So US dollar, instrument type R_GBP. So for GBP, for all the instruments here beginning with R, so R030, 090, 180, 1360, and so on. Get it for all the other things. So that is that. Now we'll proceed to the next command. Before we proceed, let's just close some of these files, I think, because we've got quite a few files open here now. Because otherwise, if it has more than 9, as you know, it will then go around. You have to click more and then go for the next window to select a file. And we don't need too many files open. So I'm going to actually leave these earlier ones first to there and close all the others perhaps. So from 98765 maybe, or maybe leave 4. So anyway, 98765, let's close. Close 9, don't save, 8_8. No, don't save. 7, I can use this as well. Close, don't save. 6, I can use file close as well. Don't save. So you see, you can use file close, you can use this icon, which I have it here, or you can just click the X here. And so what we have here are 3, probably left, 4, 5 as well. Let's go to the 5. There. Yeah, whatever it is, I don't care. I just want to close it now. I don't need it here. Right, so we'll leave these 3 example ones, perhaps, for now. Don't have to, but maybe, might as well. Okay. So what we have here, next command is in here, Y menu. So we've done this. Now we're going to do this one. All instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So this definitely is going to give quite a lot of data. What we are saying, now this all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So if I go here, the correlation for all instruments of second currency or commodity versus first currency and instrument or commodity and instrument. So for the first currency and commodity, say, for example, as we have got US dollar R030, get the correlation data of all instrument types for GBP against that. So let's see. Best thing is an example, practical example. You can see what it's doing. You can then compare it rather than just, because if this subject matter is new to you, it is much easier to see as we go along than just simply look through the command here. It'll make more sense. So I'm going to click this one. This is command 4, remember now. So I'm saying, well, the file name is the same file name. I'm going to use the same directory. Now, let's get an example here. So user is required to enter first currency or commodity code followed by its instrument code. So I'm going to put this one, R030, comma GBP. Okay, so what I'm saying is, get me the correlation data of all instrument types for GBP. So for all instrument types for GBP against US dollar R030. So for 30-day rates for US dollar, 30-day rates for US dollar, get the correlation data of all instrument types for this. So this time we're not saying, remember last time we were saying same instrument types, till now we have this. So this instrument type is R. So it was getting all the rates only, R instrument type R. This time I'm saying for US dollar rates, 30-day rates, for this one, not just all rates, just the 30-day rates, against that, get all the correlation data for all instrument types. So it would be rates, all the 30, 90, 160, 180, 360, and so on. And also this time also get the Z ones as well, Z10, 20, 30. So for example, here we have Z02, 3, 4. This is for US dollar, but for GBP, this one we are asking for GBP. But all that, plus the SE, and so on. So basically, get all the instrument types for GBP against 30-day rates, US dollar R030. So this will be quite a lot of data. "21 matching records." GBP 030, 90, 80, 180 rather, 360. So for GBP, all the instrument types, remember, but for the US dollar, it should be only R030. So here, GBP R30, 90, and 80, that's against US dollar R30, R030, only 30-day rates for that, for US dollar. Now this time it's put US dollar here in the beginning. It's easier to see here than the other way around. Would have been better the other way around, but there you are. US dollar 30-day rates, GBP, because it means the same whether you put it this side or that side, exactly the same, but that's how it had in the data, commodity data. So US dollar, it could have put it actually, it wouldn't make any difference. could have put $R030 in here, and then GBP R03090, all that on this side. The correlation is the same, exactly the same, whether you put this way or that way. But because it started with this way, that's why you are. So the GBP XS against this is well. See, every instrument type R30, US dollar R30, 30 days. The correlation is that US dollar, all that against GBP SO234, Zs and SC, and you had it here XS. See, so everything, all instrument types. So that against US dollar R030. Let's do another one. This time, so I'm using all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So this time I'm going to say, let's say get it for Deutschmark. No, first of all, well, file is all the same. Right, coming down here, let's say you might notice that there was D already there, but instead of moving to the right and then that, I chose this as quicker, just delete and then type DEM, because if I use an arrow key, then it will go and start putting R as if I'm giving a reference of next row or column. You'll see what I mean. For example, now, instead of moving it here, let's do it on here. Deutschmark, let's say Z1 underscore. That's what I wanted. So instead of going here, if I use an arrow key, see what happens. There. It's giving as if I'm putting a reference from where my cursor is there, which does make sense in here. So that's why I'm trying to, I'll go back there. I'll use the mouse actually to move rather than the arrow key on the keyboard. And it is quicker to, that's why the D, it was quicker, just delete and then enter again, D. Right, so this I'm going to say Z1 underscore, instead of I'll leave that, just get something as Z1 underscore and change this to US dollar. Right, so Deutschmark Z1 underscore US dollar. So first currency or commodity. Remember, we can't mix the two currencies. Okay, and that for this one, for just now, let's just stick to this. So Deutschmark Z1 underscore means retrieve correlation data of all instrument types of US dollar against Deutschmark Z10 and Z15. And if there was like Z12 as well, get it against those, but I know there is no Z12. So in this case, we are saying Z10 and Z15. But those two get the correlation data of all the instrument types, not just the Z types. And when you see a little bit of gap, like a pause, it's actually getting one bunch of data, then the next, and then the next. That's what it is, 42 matching records for. So there you are. So you've got here for Z1015, it's got the R030, 90, 180, so on. Then for the Z1015 again, to different instrument type, remember. Because the command was for, this is the command, for Deutschmark Z1 underscore. See, I'm in my program, I'm actually helpfully putting the command. So anyone looking at the command, even you as a user, you might forget what the actual command was. in order to actually compare. You might just forget it. So that's why I'm putting it here, the command here. Each file, as you can see on the top, in this case, it is just the colon. That was different. It's not this one. But this one, 8, or on the other one was 7. I think here 7 is it. Have I got the last one? Let's see, go back up. Not sure it's the same. The command, yes, this is a different thing. In here, this is one, I can see that. So here, this one was the command was US dollar R030 in GBP, whereas now here, this command is Deutschmark Z1 underscore US dollar. So saying get all the instrument types for this command was really basically all the instrument correlation for Deutschmark Z10 and Z15. That's what we have here. Z1015, 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 and so on. For R or 30, 90, 180, S02 as well, and so on. 42 matching records. So for Deutschmark, it will be Z15, 15, 15. As you can see, for Z15, then we have here for all from here, 02, 3, 4, 5, 20, 30, and then SC as well, US dollar, because we are saying all instrument types. That's why for US dollar, for the second currency, all the instrument types, right, for that. But for against Deutschmark, only Z1 underscore, so Z10, Z15, because that's all we have. So Z15 there, Z10 there, but for each of those, get for all the instrument types. So altogether, there are 42 matching records. Okay, let's proceed further. So the next command we're going to do now, again, all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. They're same file, same directory, and this time they're going to use, say, Deutschmark. I'm going to give an example here, a really different example, so that the more we use, the more hopefully you'll see how flexible it is. And S0 and S0 underscore. Okay? Right, so Deutschmark S0 underscore, comma, US dollar. So this one says, for all Deutschmark S02, 03, 04, whatever it is, here, for example, you can see 02, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. So we've got 3, 6. So for like 6 of these, for each of those, get all the instrument types of US dollar. So this should be even more than the last one, I think. The last command we used was Z1. Yes, so Z1 underscore. So it was Deutschmark Z10, Z15. Okay, so only 2. Get all the instrument types for US dollar. This time we are saying SO2, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. There should be, so there'll be a lot more than 42 records. And each time while there's a gap is because it's getting that jump, bunch of data each time. So there you are, 105 matching records. Because, so the command was, the command there is Y menu for character for the command 4. But what we entered here, input data was, match the data what? Deutschmark S0 underscore. Underscore means anything. So it could be, whatever we have. So, and actual data itself. So Deutschmark O2, SO2, SO3, so on. 4, 5, 7, That's it. So we got 3 to 5 of those. Then you've got again SO2, 3, 4, 5, 7, then SO2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and so on. And for each of those, for the US dollar, all the instrument types, not just S. Remember, so that was S would have been the same instrument types. This one is all instrument correlation for SO2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever we have here, 6, right? SO2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. So we've got R30 day rates, 90-day rates, 180-day, 360. And if you go down there, then we should also get the SO2 US dollar there, go to 345, then SO2 there, 34, so on. So quite a lot. Z, and then SE as well, and so on. Right, let's do another one. So all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So this one we're going to use the other example perhaps is, right, the last one was that S0. Now this time I'm actually going to say, so we same files, same book. So Deutschmark, instead of S0 underscore, S underscore. That means everything, all the instruments beginning with S. So it'll be S, not just 0203 and so on, but also SE, which if I can see somewhere here, I'll see an example there. So S underscore means not just S 02, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, also means SE, and so on. Anything beginning with S. So basically, effectively what we are saying is for all the instrument types beginning with S, types of S, get the correlation of all the instrument types, whatever, not just S. Z as well, S, of course, R as well, everything, whatever the instrument type is for US dollar, right? So for all the US dollar, all instrument types for US dollar against Deutschmark SO2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, and if there was SE, get it, but maybe there is, maybe there is not. If there is no SE, Deutschmark SE, then there won't be. So it will get only what it has. See, the gap is because it's getting a whole bunch of data and then putting again, getting, calculating, putting it there. Yes, 126 matching records. So looking for a certain bunch of data, gets it, puts it, then goes and gets some more, puts it in the result file. Now you will be able to do all this programming after a while. You'll see in AZMAT System how they actually program, because later on the live tutorials will be doing the programming mostly, and also other things, but then we will look at it and you'll see how it's done. So then you will be hopefully be able to program yourself all these things by looking at the examples. So here we have it, Deutschmark SO233. So I'm looking at it, I don't think there is any SE. See, there is no SE, but there is US dollar SE. So there is, it's getting, but if there was SE on the Deutschmark, then you would get against that as well. But there isn't, but the US dollar S is US dollar, not just S, but with Z, all the, whatever the instrument type is on the US dollar, get it for everything there. So we've got, that's what we have done. So now let's do another example here. We'll do some commodity just to show you that it can do those as well. So we're saying all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. Okay, so here we get that file name same, directory folder same. This time let's use we say copper, for example, COP, 3 character for the commodity, copper. And of course, the S there isn't any the instrument type that. And then for the other is it must be also, remember, the other one must also be currency. Sorry, it must be commodity because this one is commodity you've chosen. Second one must be also commodity. So we'll say gold. But this one here, now the instrument type I'm leaving here. I'll leave here just for now. I know it's an error, but see what happens. Because it's a commodity, well, both must be commodities for a start. Because both must be commodities or both must be first and the second must be either both commodities or both currencies. However, the instrument type S underscore is not applicable here. But let's see. I'm going to leave it there and you see what it is. If it is, well, then you'll get it. But if not, it should give me an error. Like here, copper is a commodity code. And therefore, currency instrument S is not valid. See? So because the S underscore that was a currency instrument. So it is completely, there's no point, as I'm trying to go and try and look through those 115,000 records, 115,921 records. No point going looking at it because it knows there isn't, it's not, it knows there is no such instrument for commodity, any commodity, not just copper. Because copper is a commodity code and therefore currency instrument, the S is a currency instrument. It's not a valid one. So it won't go through anyway. In fact, first, if you check these, quite a few checks it makes before it actually goes into that. So, okay, to return, let's enter the proper commodity code. So we need to enter a commodity code. Commodity code will be C. Begins with C, in this case here. So C underscore is fine because we are saying get, this should get retrieve correlation data of all instrument types for gold against copper C00, 03, C15, and C27, because those are the commodity instruments for copper in the file. But for gold, we don't actually say get that. What we are saying is get. Although you'll see. The command is what? Command is not saying match this instrument type for gold, all of them. Command is saying basically this particular command is get all the correlation data of all instrument types for gold. Whatever the instrument type for gold, get it against all the copper commodity with the instrument type C underscore. And now it's getting, that's why it's taking a little bit of time here, but it's got 4 matching records. Reason is because for the gold, it's got 0, 0, C00. Whereas copper, you have C00, C03, C15, C27. It's because that our command was copper C underscore. So that means underscore means anything beginning with C, which in this case happens to be C00, 03, 015, C27, only 4. But for gold, the command is not just to match C underscore, not to C instrument type, which is for the same instrument type would have been, but basically saying for all the instruments. For the gold, all you have is the instrument type is C00, C00. So whether you put it there, for this command, for example, just to show you, if I leave it here, I'm going to leave this here just to give you an example so you can get some idea. Well, not an example, actually, you can see that's what it means. In this particular case, I had used this command, Y menu, command 4, which basically says what? All instrument correlation for the currency or commodity, right? So for this case, correlation data of all instruments of instrument types for gold against the copper, that, right? So that command gives you that. But also, just show you, if I use the same to get this, if I use this command, instead of saying all instrument correlation of currency or commodity, because in here, as you can see, the only instrument type has this commodity C00. If I used, instead of saying all instrument correlation, if I use same instrument correlation commodity, we're going back to one command before, but just to prove something, just to show you. And if I enter in here, it's asking me to enter their first currency or commodity, and then I'm entering the second currency or commodity, gold. So effectively, what I'm saying it to do is get for this second currency, second commodity, get the instrument type C, which will happen to be the same anyway here. So we should get only 4 records again for using the same command. But this time we are using this command for same instrument type rather than all instrument for that, which effectively means the same. We'll see. Let's see. So that was command 4. This is command 3. Right, 4 matching records. So there, if you have here, if I see that now, compare this with the other one. Put it side by side. And you can see this is command 3, Y menu command 3. This is command 4, Y menu command 4. The command was exactly the actual, the input data is exactly the same. Copper, C underscore gold, copper, C underscore gold. And the reason why result is exactly the same is because this command, where it says same instrument command, yeah, it was the same instrument correlation. Get for that as for the first instrument, which is let me just actually put it. I'm looking at the command 3, this one, so I'll just show you here. But I might need to move it. Well, no, we can just see it and then come back again. So we have same instrument correlation for currency or commodity. Command 4 is all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. So number 4 is this, all instruments. But in this case, gold, the all instruments doesn't make it much difference because it has got only one C00 instrument. Not even like in copper, you have C00, 03s, 15, 27. For gold, it's just C00, only one instrument type. So whether you use same instrument correlation frequency commodity, command 3, this one, or all instrument correlation frequency commodity, this command 4, the result is exactly the same, right? Whether you use command 4, sorry, where am I? Here. One menu command 3, same instrument one, or this one for all instruments for that. It's exactly the same because in case of gold, there is only one instrument type, and that is C00. Right? But for copper, there are several instrument types. Sorry, several. For the commodity C, it's got the yes, this is C03, C030, C15, C27, C00, and so on. Several instruments, I should say, not instrument type. Instrument type would be the same. C, commodity one. It's several instruments. Gold has only one, C00. Okay, that's so that is hopefully clear. It doesn't matter even if you're not, but all I'm saying is in here, just find a point in here that the command, particularly for gold, whether you say get all the instruments for gold against copper, C, whatever, C underscore, it's the same whether saying for gold because there's only one particular commodity instrument type as well. It's the same whether you say whether you use command 3 or command 4. Okay. Let's in this case here, 003. So let's try and do something else now. We are going to use here all instrument command 4. Again, go back to 4. One more, last example, but this is quite a large one. All instruments. So the file name is exactly the same. So in this case, we are going to say copper C underscore, but instead of gold, I'm going to say USD. Now, I don't know whether you remember earlier on when we used this command 3, this is command 4, for example, right? Where it says all instrument correlation for the second currency or commodity. Whereas the first one was same instrument. There was not the first, the last one, this one here. Command 3 was same instrument correlation for currency or commodity for the second. And it came up with an error message saying because you cannot mix currencies and commodities in the same command. Because the instrument type for commodity is C. And for the currency, C is not a valid instrument type for currency. So we came up with an error message when we entered this exact same data. Copper C underscore US dollar will not be an acceptable or valid command if we were saying for the same instrument correlation. But to say get all the instruments correlations for all the instruments for this combination, copper C underscore, is valid. It is correct because we are saying not just for this commodity instrument type, which is not present for US dollar, but the command, this particular command says, get the correlation for all the instruments of the second currency or commodity. So for US dollar, everything, so it will retrieve correlation data of all instrument types for US dollar, which will be, for example, R030, R090, 180, 360, S02, S03457, and so on. Z03, 23, 5, 7, 10, whatever, all of them. And the US dollar, USD SE as well. So for all those instruments for US dollar, get the correlation for copper C 00, 03, 15, 327. Okay, so we know in here, copper has got these 4 instrument types. Gold would have been only one, C00, but for copper it has these. For all these 00 or 3, 15 or 27, for each of those, get the correlation for all the instruments of US dollar, not just, but there won't be any C instruments for it because it's a currency, but the R rates, the Z, the SC, and so on. Right. Quite a lot of, expecting a lot of data for this. So the total of 84 matching records. If we look at it now, we'll see here, for copper against gold, we had only 4 matching records. This is command 3. That was the same instrument type. So we won't put it here. In fact, let's put it here, compare against here, which is the command 4, all instrument types. In case of gold, exactly the same data as you saw in here, 3. But I'm going to compare with the here, command 4, all instrument types. So in case of gold, there's only one instrument type, and the instrument and that is C00. It got it for C underscore, so you got C003, 5, 15, 27. Whereas for in here, we have for this one, R030, 030 there. So for each of these 4, there we got that. Then R90, 180, 360, for each of these against those copper for 4 you have here. 0003, 1527. So altogether 84 matching records. See, it's also got the Z15, but you'll notice, of course, there is no US dollar C because it's a commodity instrument. US dollar in here, you have SC, but there's no C. That is only commodity instrument code. So, but you have all the, for all the instrument types. For US dollar, that's the command, get against copper C underscore means C003, 1527, whatever. I could have put C underscore, C1 underscore, in which case it would have got only against C1, 5 and C2. No, sorry, if I put C underscore, C1 underscore, it would have got only C15 against that. Indeed, let's just do it now. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to do that here. Command 4, all instrument correlation, exactly the same, except I'm going to change this. Instead of C underscore, I'm going to say C1. And effectively, what we have here is C15. That's the only one matches. No C27, no O3, no C7. So this last one was 84, 4. So this one we should have about what, 21, roughly. Not roughly, exactly, possibly. So because it's a quarter of those, so 21. You may notice if you are really watching it carefully here, when it is started, it put the matching data, put this bit there, and then when it's finished the command AZMAT System within your program, then I put this actual how many records were matching found. It wouldn't have known that at the beginning, but it did put in as much as if put this line, then added this later. You'll see that. I'll show you again here. We'll do it another command. 21 matching records because the command was copper C1 underscore. So since there is only C15, C15 only. Against that, get all the correlation for the basically all the instruments, whether it's SC, Z, O23, SO2, R, whatever, for the US dollar, get that. And this time the currencies, I just wanted to emphasize again, this time, because we are saying all the instruments for the second currency or commodity in this command, hope it's clear, all instrument correlation for the currency or commodity for the second. So so the first and the second can be currency and commodity. But when you say same instrument correlation, then you cannot have currency. So they both must be currencies or both must be commodities. Because the currencies, commodities cannot have the same instrument type. For example, the commodity is currency. Commodities have only the instrument type is C. Commodity begins with C. Commodity. Whereas for the currencies, you cannot have. There is no instrument that begins with C. It's not a commodity instrument. So it will. That's why the same instrument one in this command. You can both first and the second must be both currencies or both commodities. Whereas in here, all instrument correlation for the second currency or commodity, they can be both. The first can be currency or commodity, and the instrument code, though, must match for the first one. So you cannot have for example, you cannot have a currency and a commodity code because it's invalid. And it says so, as we saw earlier on. In fact, let's give it. I'll show you. Okay. So if, for example, if I enter rates R, for example, because this could be R180. However, it's a rates instrument. It's invalid for copper. It is okay for US dollar, but not for copper. So I should get an error message here. There, error. Copper is a commodity code and therefore currency instrument R1 underscore is not valid. Okay, so they said R is a rate, so currency is a currency instrument. Cannot put it in copper. Copper is a commodity. So the only one here, commodity code really is very simple to remember, is C for commodity. So you can't have that. But it's not complaining. This command 4 can't go there now because we are in the middle of this message box. This is command 4, where it says all instruments, match all instruments, not for the second one. So, but as long as this is correct, so if I put in this time, what I'm going to do is C 0. So I'll get C00, C03. The last time I had used 1, remember? Or the other one we'd used underscore after C. So we've got all 4 of them. So if we choose in here C0 underscore C0 underscore. So we are saying for copper C00, 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 and C03. For these two, get all the instruments for US dollar. Perfectly correct, acceptable command. There's nothing wrong with that command because this command is number 4, where it says all instruments for the second currency or commodity. You can match both currency. You can have this is a commodity, this is a currency. But for the same instrument one, you cannot have both. You cannot have these two different currency commodities. But for the same instrument, remember, for all instrument one, you can have both of them. They can be both same or different. First and the second. But the actual instrument code must be valid for the currency or commodities. For commodities with C, for all the rates, for the currency, it can be rates S, SE, and then Z, R, whatever. All the others, those are valid codes for that. Right, so for this one, we know, so we should have what, how many? 42, I think, in here. Let's see. See here, this was I was saying. How many matching records are not shown here yet? Once it's finished the command, it has put in the 42 matching records. This 42 matching records, they're finished. So this here, I put in as much as I could put it in, but of course I wouldn't know until it's finished the command how many matching records would be there. So if you notice there, I had put in up to there, and then I added this bit later once I've reached the end of the command. And then I know, and I put the same at the bottom as well here, because this could be like 100, 200 matching records. So you don't want to have to go to the top to look at how many matching records were there. So I always, make it easier for the user. So I put it at the beginning and I put it at the end. So whichever side they are near, they can just scroll to the end or the beginning and have that to see how many records were there. So now we have, I think we are more or less finished with this data, with this particular command for now. I will very briefly just go through this in here, just to recap. So I'm just going to make it smaller. So for same instrument, correlation for currency commodity, remember, both must be, when you same instrument, both the first and the second must be both either currencies or commodities when you're talking about same instruments, because currencies and commodities do not have the same instrument type. Commodities have C instrument type, begins with C, whereas for currencies, it can be C, R, Z, S, anything like that. So, but for same instrument command, number 3 here, they both, the first and the second, both must be either currencies or both must be commodities. However, for this command, number 4, all instrument correlation for the second, currency or commodity. So the first one can be currency, second one can be commodity, or the first one can be commodity and the second one can be currency. Like here, you got both currencies there, fine, not a problem. but or in here we have the commodity copper with the commodity instrument code. Instrument code is copper. For the copper is a valid code, but the second one is a currency, US dollar, because this command is number 4 there, number 4, all instrument correlation command. However, if this command was the same instrument command, then the AZMAT system will not accept it as a valid command, because you are saying in this one, get for this second item here, US dollar, which is a currency code, get for this instrument, same instrument type. And that's a valid, it's a valid instrument type for the copper commodity, but not for the currency. That's why the same instrument correlation for this, here, which is the same here, but same instrument correlation command, both must be currencies first and the second, or both must be commodities, because the instrument types cannot be the same for currencies and commodities. However, for the second command here, all instrument correlation for the second currency or commodity, you can have the first one as long as this instrument type is valid for this, which could be currency or commodity. The second can be currency or commodity. This is a currency, this is a commodity. And this instrument type must be valid for this, whatever this is. If this is a currency, it must be a valid currency code. It must be a valid instrument type for currency. Or in this case, because it's commodity, it must be a valid instrument type for a commodity, which it is in this case. C for commodity, fine. Whereas on here, we don't have it in example. Yes, I won't look through. Anyway, that is it. I think we have covered that quite comprehensively, if I may say so. And in here now, we're just trying to finish this. Let's see in here. I might actually go further. Let's try and do the same instrument correlation for all currency or commodity. There, and then you have the all instrument correlation for currency or commodity. Actually, it might be a good idea to perhaps stop at this point, because it has become very long tutorial. Don't want you to get bored. Plus, if I put this, we'll do these two. This same instrument correlation, currency, commodity, and all instruments, because these will get quite a lot. The actual data. Plus, I actually want it as some kind of revision if it was in a different tutorial. And we will continue there, but we will start there, and then we'll go to these other things as well. These are just changing the directories and so on. And this is a very simple one. Just it opens a previously created file here. So that's not. This is very simple actually. It's one of these, like for example, an earlier file you've created. It can open it for you rather than you have to use file open. But let's not go into there now. I think it's just a good enough time to stop now. And then later on we'll go through these, prepare one, and then get the single volatility or single correlation. So out of 115,921 rows, it can go and get one particular correlation, the correlation, what you, the user, wants, pretty quickly, as you will see. But before it can do that, AZMAT system has to prepare these correlation and volatility files in order to do that, and uses those, and you will learn how to actually do that, because it doesn't go around wasting time looking up to 115,921 rows. It knows, it prepares the files such that using those files, it can get these data very, very quickly, as you'll see. Then we have the risk report. This is itself probably will be long enough to do whole one tutorial just for that, because it is a very comprehensive command. And then these for these two, reason I put them at the end here, because these can be only used after you've used this command, and you'll see that later. So we will look at it later. And okay, I think we will stop probably now and do these later on in a different tutorial, mainly because you've done quite a lot here already. And this one, these are quite detailed one, especially this one, old instrument, all that. And also it will become a good revision, perhaps, for today's one. But before we do that, we can actually close some of these files here. So let's just have a look at this. We've got quite a few open. So as you can see in Excel, once you go past more than 9 files in memory open, then you have to click in order to move around, unless you can see it right in front of you, which I can't, quite a lot. Then you have to click more windows, and then you have to go through down here, scroll down to see how many there are, and then select what you want. So that's why I prefer to have no more than 9 files open at any one time. As you can see, one thing probably interesting to point out here, the file name, remember we were having 123, like here, MC 1229 no, it's not dash, it's underscore, right? It's underscore, then 1. In this case happens to be DC, but if it's not DC, but it was MC file as well, it will have underscore 2, 3, 4, so on. And then we got up to 9. Then what happens, you might wonder? Well, then you can start using the letters A, B, C, D, E, so on. So there is scope for quite a lot. But because each of these files, any user would be using it, creating it in a particular session of AZMAT System. So for that particular session, it has that in their own area, or other people might be using. So it always checks what is there, and then uses the next available letter or number in here for that. So you'll see what happens later on if you use it. But for now, I'm just going to close most of these here. But before I do that, actually, there's a simple way. Since all of these files are already used, right? So what I'm going to use is, first thing is I'm going to have a quick, so I've seen that already. There are quite a few files. In here, I've got the data file is also here. Yeah, I'll go there. I don't have to go there in order to actually use this. I'll just show you. There is the AZMAT System data file. We started this at about, so we've been around 3.5 hours, almost. Isn't it 1, 4, 3.5? Yes, it's 3.5, nearly 3.5 hours long, this tutorial. So it's been quite long. Now I can do various things. I can actually use, that's why you normally do when I begin, I always use one of these commands, save AZMAT data file, so that it's, once it saves, it puts the date and time. So I've got some idea of how long this session has been. So this way I can see that. So now when I finish, I also use the same command again. So then I'll know about that roughly where it was. So anyway, it's nearly 3.5 hours long. However, just before we do that, there's a quicker way of closing. Now you can see in here, we saw it has quite a lot of files open in memory. Right? So you've got 9 through 12, probably about 12 files open. It could be even more if you carry on. So the quickest way, if you have made lots of files, is to first save the essential files. So you have commands, for example, we'll just show you briefly here, go through here on the J menu, because nothing to do with risk management. This is the main one, which it has all these calculation models here, commands, and all these passwords and setting up new password changing and so on, and also the resetting the system and all that, many things here. But the two main ones here is quit AZMAT System. So if you click that, save files beginning with user ID. So your files, for example, this user file is AA.XLSX and so on. But you could have also may have created many other files beginning with your user ID. You will see later on, you will be in the other programs, other tutorials, you'll see you would have used them. So that's why that command is there. So you don't have to physically go and look for each one and save it. So basically, any file you have created during the session, AZMAT System always puts your initials, the 2-letter ID, the one you use to start AZMAT System, the one every AZMAT System user has to use when entering the user ID and password. So that those 2 letters will save all your files. Or if you don't want to use it, save any file at all, so use this one, very much quicker than individually going and closing those, say, 9, 10 files we have open. So what I would do, don't use that first, save any files. If you have your files beginning with your user ID, use that. And then, so it'll close. If you save those, then the other ones you could close. Or better still, first thing, what I would suggest, oops, I've just finished that, sorry, clicked the wrong one. So file, just come out of that, nothing wrong. Just in a long session. So all these files, as you can see, it's got the letters MC, but this MC is not the nothing to do with the user ID. My user ID is only one file here. This is the one, AA.XLSX, this one. There. All the others are MC, DC, and all the whichever files, the text files, all text files as well. But the beginning are also different to my initials. So what I would do in this case is, first thing is to go to the data file yourself. But I suggest go there and use the, from the U menu, saved as my data file. Okay, so now I'll put the date and time again. Right, 4/16, 15th of August. So it's definitely now just over 3.5 hours, probably a couple of minutes more. Okay, now having done that, I am not interested in saving any of these text files because they're already saved by AZMAT System. And remember, whenever we were closing, I said, when it's asked save any changes, click no. So I don't want to save these files at all anyway. And I don't want it to keep asking me each one. Close the save changes. It's very annoying. It will be very annoying if I have to answer it 10, 12 times each of these files, which you may have to do if you chose this option, quit AZMAT save files with a user ID, or so if there was a file you had, suppose, I don't know if your user ID was began with MC or DC or something, it may very well keep asking you because they are and whether you want to save it or not, or you save changes, so on and so on. So best thing is to save any files, your own files, if you know they're not very many files, your files. Best to first save them. Go there and save the AZMAT data file or save yourself your own file. But then other files which you've created, which you will create, and later on you'll notice when we go to the risk reports and so on. There are other files here. There are some other, some of these other menus. You have particularly the rates one, rates and one in the K menu and so on. Anyway, all those files, then you could use that command, quicker to save, quit AZMAT, save files beginning with user ID. So it will just save all your files and then close. Oh. But in this case, since only one file here, we've already saved it. We've just saved it. We don't need to save any files. So it's much quicker to simply then click on quit AZMAT to not save files. So it'll close it and end the session. Okay, so that is what I'd advise you to do. I'm just going to use it. You can use it as many times, as often as you like. Save AZMAT data file. There. 3 minutes ago I saved it, just saved it now. Right. I'm going to finish this session now and we'll meet again at another tutorial. Okay, bye. See you next time.